Brother and lads, welcome back to Cossy Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be diving into the latest around Arsenal. Gilles Timber is set for medical. Arsenal and Ajax have now agreed, and Ajax have given him the permission to come and do his medicals in London. We'll be diving into that story. Arsenal are still in the market. We're looking at other players, including Aurelien Tchouameni. Can Arsenal sign Aurelien Tchouameni? Romeo Lavia is another player that Arsenal is still working on as well. Thomas Partey's exit is now very, very imminent. We'll be talking about Partey requesting to leave Arsenal this summer, other than Arsenal pushing him out of the door. Could Granit Xhaka stay? We'll be talking about that. And the legend Cesc Fàbregas has retired from football as well. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. Let's get this video to 500 likes, and we're very close to 71,000 subscribers. Let me know in the comment box below. Is Cesc Fàbregas an Arsenal legend? Now, there is no question. He is a legend of the game. He was one of the brightest sparks in that Arsenal side since 2003 till 2011. When he left Arsenal, went to Barcelona, things actually didn't work out very well. But for him in Spain, winning the UEFA, the Euro 2008, winning the World Cup 2011, and then coming back to the Premier League with Chelsea and winning the Premier League, definitely he is a legend of the game. But I want to ask you, as an Arsenal fan, what you think about Cesc Fàbregas as he retires from football. Is he a legend of Arsenal Football Club? Do we quantify him with the likes of Thierry Henry, with the likes of Patrick Vieira, one of the best captains at a very, very young age at Arsenal? Look, he was a sensational talent. He was a sensational player, and many Arsenal fans, including myself, we love him a lot. And all we can say is, success in whatever you're gonna do after football. But is he a legend to you? Right, so let's dive into that one. Cesc Fàbregas finally retires from football. Arsenal fans will remember him as one of the youngest players ever to play for Arsenal in 2003 at 16 years and 77 days. Youngest player by that time to ever play for Arsenal. And also in the same year, 2003, he became the youngest player to score a goal for Arsenal Football Club. He only won one trophy with us, that is the FA Cup 2006, beating Manchester United. That was the only trophy Arsenal won under the guidance or during the time he was at the club, and then eventually left in 2011. But I think among all the projects that Arsene Wenger worked on, among all the players that we've seen under Arsene Wenger, he was absolutely different. His mentality, his ability on the ball, one of the players that I've seen that can see a very different picture from from all the other players on the pitch. That is what I remember about Cesc Fàbregas. And I think it was unfortunate that when he goes back to Barcelona, things actually don't work out very well. His international career as well was also, hindered by the fact that you had the likes of Iniesta, Xavi at the time. So I don't think he reached the peak of his powers, in my opinion. If he had stayed at Arsenal, which you don't blame him for, at that time, Arsenal is not a club you would have told a player to stay with. But for me, if he had stayed at Arsenal, I think it would have been much different. His career would have been much better than what it went down to become. But for me, still a legend of the game. An FA Cup, a Premier League titles. Of course, you're talking about a Euro 2008 winner. You're talking about a World Cup 2010 winner. I think he's a legend. He's an absolute legend of the game. And I don't know if Odegaard is going to produce that kind of quality. But I think if it's not for Odegaard, I do not remember Arsenal having a player as good as Cesc Fàbregas. And I'm saying this bearing in mind that we have had Mesut Ozil play for this club. And why I think Mesut Ozil does not reach the standards of Cesc Fàbregas. One, look, Fàbregas was our talisman at some point in time, in 2008, starting 2008 till 2011. But then also, Cesc Fàbregas' game was all round. He had the ability to make that pass. He had the ability to carry the ball. He had the ability to put in that defensive work like a solid all-round midfielder. And no wonder when Arsenal lost, when we lost Patrick Vieira to Juventus, he stepped in. He stepped into into some of the biggest boots, into some of the biggest shoes you can ever step in. Because Patrick Vieira was captain for Arsenal, Invisibles was captain for Arsenal 2005 FA Cup win, and also he was captain when we went on to. He was captain when we went on to finish runners-up in the UEFA Champions League final, right? So for me, Fàbregas, the fact that he did that at such a very, very young age, he remains an Arsenal legend in my opinion. He really, really does, right? So let's talk about Julian Timber now, because we are done with just Fàbregas. He retires from football. Julian Timber has permission from Ajax to do his medicals with Arsenal next week. Now, on Monday, Arsenal did submit their offer, which was around £45 million, around rising to 47 million euros. We were talking about the fact that Arsenal and Ajax had a verbal agreement and the talks were very, very close. Now we understand that Julian Timber has permission to do his medicals with Arsenal next week. I expect this one to be done by early next week. Maybe the Declan Rice deal could slow it a little bit. But I also understand it's one of those deals where the accountants of both teams are trying to juggle things here and there. I think, look, if you're an accountant, if you're dealing with the numbers at Arsenal this summer, you have to be absolutely very, very spot on and absolutely very, very clever. You cannot afford a mistake. One, this is the summer Arsenal spending the most amount of money. Like I don't remember Arsenal spending any huge amounts of money in a summer other than this. So this is the summer that we're spending the most amount of money, first and foremost. And also, this is the summer where Arsenal are looking to rebrand, right? We are looking to rebrand into a bigger team. We're looking to rebrand into a bigger force. So it's going to be a lot of money thrown around. It's going to be big numbers. We are talking very, very big numbers as well. So the one thing you have to know with the Timber deal is probably Tuesday or Wednesday, I expect his medicals to be done, and then by Friday, he could be announced as an Arsenal player. Now, today is the second day of July. That means we are left with only 11 days for our pre-season tours to begin. We start with Nuremberg, we have Man United, we will play FC Barcelona as well during that time. So I think Mikel Arteta wants his players to be already in place. That is what he wants. And for me, in the next 2 weeks, his players will be in place. So Julian Timber's medical is already set. He's waiting for that green light. Actually, he has cut his holiday short, come back to Ajax to train a little bit and be fit. He wants to come to Arsenal in the best possible shape. I mean, I like the mentality. I really, really do like the mentality. It's very different from other players. There are few players that have that mentality. I want to be fit. I want to go to the next level. I want to prove my worth to the next level. And that is Julian Timber for you. So let's wait and see what's going to come out of there when the medicals will be done. But Timber is set for medicals. The permission to do them from Ajax is already on the way. Now, let's talk about Arsenal's next steps, because we are talking Aurélien Tchouameni. We are also talking Romeo Lavia as well. So Arsenal are looking to sign a few other players after signing Timber, Havertz, and Declan Rice. And two names have actually been very, very vocal in the media. One is Romeo Lavia. Of course, we know we've talked about Romeo Lavia on a couple of occasions. Arsenal have been working on this deal, according to Fabrizio Romano. And David Ornstein says that it is not as advanced as people will want it to be. It is not as close as, to bring this kind of excitement and everything. But at least there is groundwork being done by Arsenal to sign Romeo Lavia, right? But the other name is Aurélien Tchouameni. Tchouameni would be like a Kai Havertz signing. He would be like a Martin Odegaard signing in this way. Arsenal originally could not afford Aurélien Tchouameni. I think he signed for Real Madrid for close to 100 million from Monaco. By that time, that was last summer, by the way. That was last summer. So by that time, Arsenal could not, dash in 100 million pounds or million euros own one player. And you remember, I think we spent around 160 million on a couple of players. Okay, so if you sign Aurelien Tchouameni, it would be the same as signing Kai Havertz. He goes to another club, doesn't work out. You get him for a cut price, but of course you know he's still a very quality player. Now, is Aurelien Tchouameni for sale? Madrid would be absolutely out of their mind to sell Aurelien Tchouameni. Now, he's not had the best of seasons last campaign, and I think that's the reason as why many people are saying that he could leave Madrid and all this, and maybe Arsenal making inquiries. I don't have a problem with Arsenal making inquiries. I do believe that Arsenal made an inquiry because signing Declan Rice has given us that confidence to go and knock on the door of each and every big club in Europe and each and every big player in Europe. I've had links about Kylian Mbappe. I will do a video about Kylian Mbappe and the links to Arsenal, but I tell you what, I don't think Arsenal are going to sign Kylian Mbappe. Like, to be honest, I do not think Arsenal are going to sign Kylian Mbappe in this summer, right? So with Aurelien Tchouameni, I think there is no chance that Arsenal gets him. One, of all the players that Madrid have, he's the special one. And I don't mean special in terms of talent and ability. He's the only one that replaces Casemiro like for like. I think Camavinga is quite a very, very interesting talent, but Camavinga is more like your Toni Kroos, right? Or Jude Bellingham, again, is more like your Luka Modric, Toni Kroos. Valverde is more like your Luka Modric, Toni Kroos. So Tchouameni, actually, in my opinion, is the only player who's got his number secured, his position secured for the next 5 years at Real Madrid. And there's no question about his quality. There's no question about his ability to play in that Real Madrid midfield. I think it really started off very well, but injuries, I think it was, and a few issues here and there, adapting to Carlo Ancelotti's style, and the fact that Ancelotti still trusts in Kroos and Modric, is gonna take some time for that transition to happen. So Tchouameni, untouchable. Tchouameni to Arsenal, I don't see that happen. But if it happens, I would definitely be very, very happy, with the move. I like Aurelien Tchouameni. He's a midfield genius, isn't he? He's a midfield genius. I'll take him at Arsenal all day. I would really take him at Arsenal all day. But I don't think that happens in any way, shape, or form. Now let's talk about Thomas Partey's exit, because Partey could actually be going and Xhaka could stay. This is what I was talking about yesterday, that there is some politics at Arsenal being thrown around. We could see one player in Partey leaving, and we could see one player in Xhaka staying. But let's start off with Thomas Partey, all right? Let's start off with Thomas Partey. So according to Transfers, which is a very, very credible transfers website, they're saying that Arsenal are trying to move Thomas Partey to Saudi Arabia. According to Team Talk's Graham Bailey, Thomas Partey has requested to leave Arsenal this summer, with Saudi Arabian clubs lacking. Bailey says that Thomas Partey is by far the likeliest candidate to depart, and the Ghana international is understood to have asked the club to leave. The Gunners are reportedly looking for around 40 million for the 30-year-old. Mikel Arteta wants to revamp his midfield, with Arsenal agreeing a 105 million move for West Ham midfielder Declan Rice. Thomas Partey requested to leave Arsenal. Thomas Partey is going to be leaving Arsenal. Look, it's so confusing. It's very confusing. The one thing I know with Partey is that he won't fail to find a good club. He won't fail to find good suitors. The one thing I don't understand about this deal, ever, is why now? Why Thomas Partey? Why now? Right? This is when we need experience. This is when we need pedigree. This is when we need every resource that Thomas Partey has got in his bank. Like signing him at 27, 3 years ago, that was such a blessing in disguise, because eventually we would go on to have the youngest team in the squad, and you need the experience. You need the experience of Thomas Partey. You need the experience of Alexander Zinchenko, Gabriel Jesus. You need the experience of Leandro Trossard and Jorginho. You need that experience. So why Partey and why now? With Xhaka, I understand. Arsenal are evolving into a more sophisticated team above Xhaka. That role where Kai Havertz could potentially play, or Rice could potentially play. If Rice plays there, he offers more than Xhaka. If Kai Havertz plays there, defensively, there is a question, but going forward, again, he offers more than Xhaka. But Thomas Partey, and the fact that he requested to leave Arsenal, this makes everything absolutely fishy. Like, it just makes no sense that one of our best players has requested to leave the club. I do not get it. I really do not understand it. And probably I will never understand the dynamics behind this deal. Like, possibly, I will never understand them. But listen, Partey has requested to leave Arsenal this summer. Mikel Arteta knows that. And Xhaka could stay. Because the deal that was agreed in principle with Bayer Leverkusen, Arsenal are willing to turn back on that deal. Arsenal are willing to go, we want 20 million, we don't want 13 anymore. And Xhaka could, see himself staying at Arsenal. Not a bad deal, in my opinion. If you let go of Partey, you can keep Xhaka. Just for the experience and the fact that Xhaka is one of the longest serving members at this football club with Rob Holding. I would be happy to see them put on that Arsenal jersey with medallions on top of it. I'll be very, very happy. But anyway, that is it from me. Partey could go. Xhaka could stay. Arsenal are looking at Tchouaméni, and the Timber Medical is set as our former captain, talisman, the big man, Cesc Fàbregas, retires from football as a football legend.